Well, hello again. I think today we'll make us some Italian sausage chili. I just got a hankering for it and I want some, and I'm going to make some. I've got all the fixings to do it, and hopefully, someone who's never seen how to make Italian sausage chili will give it a try, because you're going to like it. The last time I did this was like 10 years ago, and I think I did it in a Mish-Mash video, but I can't find the video. So which one it's in, so to heck with it. We're just going to do a brand new one. There's a couple of people going to be watching this also that I know that would like to learn how to make it. So I'm going to use I'll go over the ingredients real quick and easy like. I bought some real, extra virgin olive oil from Sicily quite a while ago. So I'm going to be using some of that. Made from one place, one crop of olives, as opposed to tons and tons of different olives from different countries. You really don't want that. Try to go with something. California would be a good one. They use one crop of the same kind of olives, and they make very good olive oil out there. Dark chili powder. You can use regular if you want, but just you can get the dark. I like this Old Thompson's. It's expensive, but I like it. You can see the difference in color here. Slight difference in color, but you can get this at Walmart, the dark chili powder, sea salt, a little bit of oregano, some ground cumin, Italian seasoning, and paprika. Now keep in mind, all of this I'll start out with the basics, and you can adjust it as time goes, as you make the chili and it boils away in the pot and everything. You taste it and adjust it to your liking, okay? This is not a fixed, solid, never-ending, changing thing, okay? It's up to you. Now let's take a look at the rest of the ingredients. The rest of the ingredients are, of course, sweet Italian ground sausage. I went to Walmart the other day and they didn't have Johnsonville 2 packages, so I had to get this market side. I don't know if this is going to be any good or not. I mean, you can't hardly mess up. You put the right, fennel. Fennel is the seasoning. You put that in there, you can't hardly mess it up. So these are the links. Usually about 2.5 pounds is what you need. This is a little over a pound, and this is a pound, so we'll be using that. You can use mild, you can use hot, use a mixture thereof. It's entirely up to you. Then, of course, we're going to use the cannelli beans, which are white kidney beans. They're Italian. Yeah, this is Italian sausage chili. These are really good beans, by the way. I don't like regular kidney beans, the red ones. I like the white ones. They taste good. Cannelli beans, come in a can, Walmart. Good stuff. Bushes, so you know it's good. Then, of course, we're going to put some pepper in it, of course. I left that out in the last batch. And then we're going to have some chopped onions. And we're going to have a little bit of tomato sauce. Not much. And we're going to have some red and green bell peppers that I've chopped up previously. Well, that's it. Well, let's get started. Alright, all I'm going to do is crumble this up, a little bit. And then before I put it in the pan, lucky me, I don't have to take the casings off. But on this other stuff, all you got to do is take a sharp knife and just cut it all the way down. You can almost do this stuff one-handed. Let me see if I can do it one-handed. Pick up the casing with your thumb and your forefinger. And if you're lucky, the whole thing will just fall right out of there. Of course, it never hardly does for me, but there it is. She's coming out. There we go. See? That's the way it's done, just like that. You don't have to put a lot of work into it. Make sure you got a good sharp knife. I'll do another one in case I didn't get all that in the camera. Make it easy on yourself. Just grab it. Make sure you have clean hands too. Get it loose there. Two of them want to hug each other. That's all there is to it. Just peel it right out. Nothing to it. And then I'm going to crumble that up too. Alright, that's about the way I like to do it. You don't want to, you just chop it, just squeeze it a little bit and get it broke apart. You don't need to keep doing it until you draw a retirement. But anyway, we're going to put the onions, we're going to put the olive oil in, then we're going to put the onions in, then we're going to put this right in on top, and you start out with a cold pot. Cold, cold, cold. And then once it gets in the pot, you start stirring it around with the onions, and you take up some kind of a thing like this, and you begin to chop that stuff as the sausage heats up. If you don't chop it up real fine, you're going to have a terrible time doing it after it cooks. You want it to come all apart, and I'll show you that next. Alright, now look, if you don't have olive oil, don't worry about it, it doesn't take a whole lot. It's about all I'm going to put in there. If you don't have olive oil, use cooking oil, it'll work just as good. Alright, in goes one whole onion. And then just kind of stir the onions around, kind of even them up. Now comes the sausage right on top of it. Alright, now comes a spoonful of salt. Go easy on the salt, I'm just going to take a spoonful like this. Just kind of go easy on the salt. It doesn't take long for this stuff to get salty, and you can always add salt later. Now we're going to turn on the fire, and we're going to start chopping this stuff up. It's going to be about a 15-minute deal, standing here chopping this crap, because you want this meat to be as fine as you can. If you don't, it'll be hard and chewy, and once it cooks, you can break it apart, but it's going to take a longer time than 15 minutes. Let's get started on that, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, I've got this just a little bit past medium, okay, not quite high, and once it starts to sizzle and begin to cook, I'm going to move it back to about right here, right about in the medium. And meanwhile, that's why you got to start with a cold pot. Now we're going to start chopping this crap. You can use any kind of wooden spoon you want, or plastic, it's up to you. Stuff has a tendency to grab a hold of the chopper, and it moves the pot around too much. But you got to keep chopping. You got to keep chopping this up. I'll come back in a few minutes to show you what progress we've made. Well, so far so good. I've got the onions all mixed in with it. As you can see, it's really chopping up now, but that's still not good enough. Keep working at it. You got to get this stuff down to really small pieces, so it'll turn soft and it'll taste really good. Now you're going to develop some liquid in the top and the bottom, and I'll show you what to do with that after I get it chopped down pretty good. Keep chopping. This is the hardest part of the whole thing, but it all pays off in the end. Keep chopping. Get that stuff real fine. Alright, we've pretty much got it down to the size I like, and what it's supposed to be actually. You want small bits. You can see them, see there? Now, if you look over here, you'll see that there's juice. See that juice down in there? We're going to have to keep stirring and cooking until that juice disappears. You don't want that. Don't throw it out. It'll evaporate and be caramelized on the meat. Alright, now we get to seasoning. I've got 2 tablespoons of chili powder. We're going to put a teaspoon of paprika. We're going to put a teaspoon of cumin. We're going to put a half a teaspoon of dried oregano, which is this stuff right here. And we're going to add some pepper to it. And if you want, you can add some hot pepper. It's up to you, the way you want to make this. It's your chili. Do it the way you want. I don't want any hot pepper. But I'm still cooking until that liquid disappears. I don't know why I'm not getting good light here tonight. We're getting quite a bit of liquid there. So we'll just keep on cooking. Just keep on cooking. Stirring and cooking. And remember, the whole time we're on medium heat. See how small those pieces are? Those are great. See, that's what you want. You really got to work at this, If the kids are bugging you, the dogs are barking, put them out in the backyard. Don't let anybody disturb you while you're doing this. The liquid is beginning to disappear, but there's a lot of it still there. Keep on cooking. I'll tell you what, boy, she's looking better and better. The juice is really beginning to disappear. Still got a little bit down in there, but not much. Won't be long. We'll be adding all of our spices. I got them in the bowl here. I'll go over them one more time. You salt this thing to taste. I put a teaspoon of salt in the beginning, but after that, if you need more salt, you go ahead and do it. It's up to you. 2 tablespoons of chili powder, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of dried oregano, and a teaspoon of pepper, which is exactly what I added. And now we're going to be adding water here in a few minutes. About 2 cups. 2.5, depends on you. Depends on how juicy, how liquidy you want your chili. It's, there again, call it like you see it, the way you like it. I like mine kind of semi. Some people like it really dry, and that's not chili to me. Alright, I think that's about good enough. Most of it's gone. I'll give it another 2 minutes. I do believe we just about reached perfection, so now we're going to go ahead and put our seasoning in there. Put it all in there. Last time I made this I had to add more chili powder. I like the chili taste. And I also added, it's not part of the actual recipe, but I added some Italian seasoning to this seasoning. So we got a little bit of that in here too. Okay, now we fry it for about, we saute it for about a couple of minutes. Stir it around, saute it, get it all covered with that seasoning. And when we're done, we're going to add water and some tomato sauce, but not a lot of tomato sauce. We'll get to that in a second. We are almost at the finish line. I'm going to add a little bit of that tomato sauce. Maybe one more scoop is about it. That's all we need. That might even be too much. You don't need to have a whole lot of tomato sauce, okay? And we'll stir that around a little bit, and we'll add water here. Then we'll stir it around real good, and we'll let it simmer for 45 minutes. This is 2 cups of water. It may not be enough. If not, I'll add some more. It's up to you. It's your chili. It's looking good already, huh? Look at that. Ooh, it's looking really good. Okay, now what we're going to do is let it simmer for, like I said, 45 minutes. And once we get done, then we'll go ahead and add the bell peppers. We've got the bell peppers to add yet, and the beans. So the beans, by the way, will be drained. Don't just throw the whole can in there. Get that liquid out of the can. She's looking real good right now. Now let me make sure I didn't skip any steps. Let me check the paperwork. Alright, I think that's just a little too thick for my blood. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Not much. Just going to kind of eyeball it. Boy, my throat's bad again. I've been out in the yard all day burning brush again. I'm almost done with that job. Jeez, I got one more day, I think. I was hoping it would be done by now, but it didn't work out. That smoke gets in your throat. You can't help it. It's all over the entire acre that we're cooking it on. All right, let's let her simmer now for slow simmer. Slow simmer. I'll get it up there to that slow simmer, and I'll show you. Now that's what I'm talking about by a slow simmer. Now what you're doing here for that 45 minutes is making the meat soft. Alright, our 45 minutes is up. Now what we have to do is we have to add the beans and then the bell peppers. But before we do that, we better make sure this meat is tender. I don't want to be putting beans and bell peppers in on top of meat that's not fully cooked yet. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let's get the beans in there. Remember, cannellini beans, they're the best. They're white kidney beans, and they're Italian. They're really good. I'm going to put 2 cans in. No juice. I drained off as much juice as I could. Sorry for the noise. Okay, now we're going to stir it around. I'm going to have to add more water. I can tell you that already. See how thick it got? That's okay. We got plenty of water. Now we go ahead, and it looks really good with those beans, by the way. Now we'll go ahead and take our red and green bell peppers. Put that in there too. I'll get every last piece. Doesn't that look pretty already? Get a little focus going here. Yep, it's really thick, too thick. Alright, let's add some water to get it the way I like it. Just a little at a time. Don't go bananas. Oh, shut up, for crying out loud. Things driving me bats here. Oh, a little bit more. I want a little bit more. Some of it's going to boil away because we have to simmer it again for 30 minutes. 30 minutes more. Yeah, now we're getting it the way I like it. Alright, at the end of the 30 minutes now, actually I guess we could do it right now. We'll do it then too. We'll go ahead and taste this stuff. See what it tastes like. It's probably going to need a little bit more salt. I'll put that in at the end. Well, that's it, folks. She's all done. All I have to do now is taste it. Maybe add some more chili powder, maybe a little more cumin. You can do anything you want at this stage. Once it's completed, you can add some sliced jalapeno peppers. Do whatever you want, you know. And let's taste it and see what she's like. I may need a little more salt. Never know. This is where you season it to your taste, and it's usually it's just very good to begin with. Let me find out here. Boy, that's really good. That is really good. It's got plenty, just the right amount of salt, got just the right amount of cumin and chili powder. Ooh, boy. God. I cannot wait to chow into this. Ooh, chowing down. And Italian sausage chili, there's nothing like it. Man. Add a little bit of juice to that. And that's it for today. Alright, boy, this is really good. I'm eating this with Ritz crackers. I think, and a nice root beer. Gotta have a root beer. Gotta have a root beer. So until next time, this is John.